It is not every day that we receive a visitor from beyond our own solar system. For centuries, humanity has gazed up at the stars, wondering if we are alone in this vast, silent universe. We have sent our own messages out into the cosmic dark, small whispers of our existence carried on radio waves and golden records. Then in 2017, something extraordinary happened. The universe, it seemed, sent something back. It was a silent traveller, a fleeting guest from an unknown star, given the name Oumuamua. This name, Hawaiian for a messenger from afar arriving first, perfectly captured the sense of profound mystery that surrounded this object from the very beginning. The arrival of Oumuamua was a landmark event, a moment that shifted our perspective on the cosmos. It was the first time we had ever confirmed the presence of an interstellar object passing through our celestial neighbourhood. Imagine for a moment a piece of another star system, a world perhaps billions of years old, journeying through the unimaginable emptiness between stars for eons, only to briefly grace us with its presence. The story begins on October 19th, 2017. Astronomers using the Pan-stars. One telescope in Hawaii, a sentinel constantly scanning the night sky for threats like near-Earth asteroids, detected a faint point of light. At first it seemed unremarkable, just another celestial wanderer. But as they tracked its path, a startling realization began to dawn. This object was not from around here. Its trajectory was all wrong. It was moving too fast, and its path was a sharp hyperbola, a clear indication that it was not gravitationally bound to our sun. What made Oumuamua so immediately captivating were its profoundly unusual characteristics. Based on the way its brightness fluctuated, astronomers deduced it had a very strange shape. It was not round like a planet or a typical asteroid. Instead, it appeared to be extremely elongated, perhaps 10 times longer than it was wide, like a cosmic cigar or a flat shard-like pancake. Furthermore, it had a dark, reddish hue, a colour suggesting it had been bombarded by high-energy cosmic rays over millions or even billions of years of interstellar travel. Its journey was a spectacle in itself. Oumuamua had already whipped around the sun a month before its discovery and was on its way back out of our solar system, moving at a blistering speed of over 196,000 miles per hour. It did not behave like a typical comet, which would normally spew gas and dust as the sun's heat vaporized its ices, creating a visible coma or tail. Oumuamua was clean, as astronomers continued to meticulously track Oumuamua's departure. They noticed something that could not be easily explained. The object was not slowing down as it should have been. After slingshotting around our sun, the only significant force that should have been acting upon it was the sun's gravity, gently pulling it back and causing it to decelerate at a predictable rate. But Oumuamua was not following the script. It was accelerating, gently pushing away from the sun with a tiny yet persistent and undeniable non-gravitational force. It was as if something was giving it a slight continuous nudge. This discovery sent ripples of confusion and excitement through the astronomical community. A small push of this nature is not entirely unheard of. It is the hallmark of a comet. As a comet nears a star, its ices turn to gas, shooting out like miniature rocket thrusters and giving it a gentle push, a phenomenon known as outgassing. The problem, however, was that we saw nothing. Our most powerful telescopes, including the Hubble Space Telescope, were pointed at Oumuamua, and they could not detect any hint of a dusty or gassy coma around it. This contradiction created a deep and fascinating paradox. We had an object that was accelerating like a comet, but it did not look like a comet. It was a ghost in the machine, an effect without a visible cause. Today is July 30th, 2025. Years have passed since Oumuamua vanished from our view, continuing its lonely journey into the interstellar void. For most, its story concluded there, a fascinating but closed chapter in astronomical history. But in recent months, a new and frankly shocking claim has begun to emerge from the fringes of the scientific community and among dedicated independent skywatchers. The claim is as simple as it is world-altering, that Oumuamua has changed direction. It is no longer heading out into the blackness of the Milky Way. It is, according to these whispers, turning back. This assertion is not coming from official channels. You will not find it in a NASA press release or a paper published in a mainstream scientific journal. They suggest that after traveling billions of miles away from us, beyond the orbit of Neptune and into the cold, dark expanse of the outer solar system, the object has initiated a slow, deliberate, and impossibly controlled course correction. To be clear, the idea of an object of this size performing such a maneuver defies everything we know about orbital mechanics. Without a massive, ongoing source of propulsion, an object's trajectory is dictated by gravity. It cannot simply decide to turn around. To do so would require an expenditure of energy so immense that it is difficult to even comprehend. It would be like a thrown baseball suddenly stopping in mid-air and flying back to the pitcher's hand. This is why the claim is so radical and why it is met with such profound skepticism from the scientific establishment. When faced with these extraordinary claims, it is crucial to understand what the official scientific consensus says. NASA, the European Space Agency, and the majority of the world's astronomers maintain a consistent and scientifically grounded position. Firstly, regarding the new claim that Oumuamua is turning back, there is absolutely no credible evidence to support it. The object is now so far away and so faint that it is well beyond the detection capabilities of even our most powerful current telescopes. Any suggestion of tracking its movement now is, from a mainstream perspective, pure speculation, not science. Regarding the original mystery of the non-gravitational acceleration, scientists have proposed several plausible natural explanations. The leading hypothesis is that Oumuamua was, in fact, a comet, but one of a kind we have never seen before. Perhaps it was venting pure hydrogen gas, which would have been invisible to our telescopes. Another idea is that it was a nitrogen iceberg, a fragment chipped off a Pluto-like exoplanet, and the gentle push was caused by nitrogen ice sublimating off its surface. These theories attempt to explain the observed effect without resorting to extraordinary causes, adhering to the scientific principle of Occam's razor. Official sources are very clear in their communication. They acknowledge that Oumuamua was deeply strange and that its properties stretched our existing models. However, they emphasize that a lack of a perfect explanation does not automatically mean the explanation is artificial. Science is a process of discovery, and Oumuamua simply presented a new type of natural object that we must now work to understand. They rightly caution against jumping to conclusions, especially ones as significant as alien technology, without extraordinary and verifiable proof. While the official explanations are logical and scientifically sound, they do not quiet all of the questions. In fact, a careful examination of the official stance reveals certain gaps, areas where the explanations feel incomplete. For instance, the theory of a hydrogen iceberg or a nitrogen iceberg requires a type of object that we have never observed, and whose formation is highly theoretical. While possible, it asks us to accept the existence of something entirely new to explain away the anomaly. Furthermore, there is the matter of what is being omitted from the public discussion. Why was there such a scramble to classify Oumuamua, first as a comet, then an asteroid, then a new class of object altogether? The quiet but persistent debate among top-level scientists, like Avi Loeb's very public and detailed arguments for an artificial origin, is often downplayed in official summaries. The official narrative presents a more unified front than what the reality of the scientific debate suggests. Let us consider the timing. Oumuamua was a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, yet we only saw it as it was leaving. Why was it not detected on its way in? Our sky survey systems are designed to do exactly that. Understanding the limitations of our detection systems is crucial, and the silence on this particular point is noticeable. And this brings us back to the new, radical claim of its turn. The official dismissal is swift and absolute. We cannot see it, therefore we cannot track it. This is a reasonable position, but it also serves to shut down the conversation entirely. What if there are other ways of detecting gravitational or other disturbances that are not being made public? The question is not, do we have proof it is turning back? But rather, why is the possibility not even being entertained as a thought experiment? The silence itself becomes a point of curiosity. When a mystery is this profound, every possibility, no matter how outlandish, warrants consideration. When we have exhausted the conventional explanations, or at least found them wanting, we are left with the responsibility to consider the unconventional. What if Oumuamua was not a rock? What if its strange elongated shape was not a cosmic accident, but a feature of its design? This is the hypothesis put forth by Professor Avi Loeb and others who suggest that Oumuamua could have been an artifact of an extraterrestrial civilization. Not necessarily a crude vessel, but perhaps a probe, a buoy, or even a piece of discarded technology. A light sail, for example, pushed by solar radiation, would be thin, flat, and would accelerate away from a star without any visible outgassing. This theory of intelligent design, as radical as it sounds, elegantly solves many of the object's mysteries. Its unusual shape, which is highly efficient for interstellar travel, would be purposeful. Its non-gravitational acceleration would be explained by its function as a solar sail, catching the pressure from our sun's photons. Its lack of a cometary coma is a given, as it would not be made of ice, and its reddish, ancient appearance could be the result of a long-dead technology drifting through the cosmos for millions of years, a derelict ship from a forgotten civilization. And if we allow ourselves to entertain that possibility, then the new claim that it is turning back takes on a chilling new meaning. If Oumuamua is an artifact, then it is a technology we do not understand. Perhaps it is not turning back under its own power. Could it be responding to a signal? Or could its trajectory be altered by forces or physics that are currently unknown to us? We are like ants on a sidewalk, trying to comprehend the nature of the airplane flying high above our heads. Its movements would seem magical, impossible, because we lack the proper context for understanding. This line of thinking does not require us to believe. It simply requires us to be open. The universe is nearly 14 billion years old. Our solar system is a relative newcomer. The possibility that other civilizations may have risen and fallen, leaving their silent artifacts to drift between the stars, is not illogical. It is in many ways a statistical likelihood. We find ourselves at a crossroads of belief and evidence. On one path lies the comfort of established science, which tells us that Oumuamua was a strange but natural object. On the other path lies a more unsettling and profound possibility, that we have been visited by something not born of nature but of intelligence. The official story is that the visitor is gone forever. The whispers say it is coming back. As of today, we do not have the proof to definitively walk one path or the other. We are left here in the middle with the mystery. The true legacy of Oumuamua may not be in what it was, but in what it inspired. It forced us to confront the vastness of our own ignorance. It challenged our categories and pushed the boundaries of our imagination. It is a cosmic lesson in humility. Whether it was a nitrogen iceberg, a hydrogen comet, or an alien solar sail, it proved that the universe is far stranger and more wonderful than we have ever known. And it guarantees one thing: there are more visitors to come. The next time one passes through, we will be better prepared. I urge you to think for yourself. Look at the evidence that has been presented. Read the official explanations from NASA. Then seek out the arguments from credible scientists like Avi Loeb, who dare to suggest alternative theories. Do not accept any single narrative as absolute truth. The universe does not give up its secrets easily. It asks us to be curious, to question, and to keep searching. The story of Oumuamua is your story. It is humanity's story. It is the story of our place in the cosmos and the endless search for answers. If you, like me, feel a sense of wonder when you look up at the night sky, then I invite you to continue this exploration with us. Our quest for knowledge is just beginning. Thank you for spending this time with me. Please consider liking this video to share it with others, and subscribe to Cosmic Discover so you do not miss the next chapter in our shared cosmic journey.